Hello and welcome back to the Fourth Down Fiasco podcast. Today we're going to run over the EFA rosters. Shout out Jamal Clay. He's been doing an in-depth analysis of all the rosters currently. We're not going to go as in-depth because we're going to go run through all 6 teams in one episode. And yeah, BetStamp, signupexpert.com/fiasco. We don't need to tell you that. Jordan always tells you that. But with me today is not Jordan. It is the one and only Tanner Vinsky.
Hello, hello.
And so I think we decided we're just going to, based on the ELFpedia setup, shout out that guy, we're just going to run through the EFA teams and their active rosters. So he has Frankfurt as number 1 on the list. So we're going to start with Frankfurt. Just go dive straight into it.
Yeah, you want to just go position by position? We'll just go all down the list he's got, and
let's give like a quick once over of like initial thoughts on the roster, and then we can obviously go in depth more at the end when we wrap up the team. But like initial thoughts on Frankfurt.
I think Frankfurt looks pretty good. Pretty good. I forget where I ranked them on our EFA AFLE combined power rankings, but I'm pretty sure I had them relatively high, and it's just because they've been able to poach a lot of people from a lot of other teams, and the defense especially, man, just looks so good.
So you have them listed as 5th, so 4th best in the EFA, which in terms of thinking of it, that's wild because that's 4 out of 6.
Yeah. But still, they're really fucking, I don't know. This defense especially just looks so good.
Yeah, we'll go backwards. We'll go down tiers, but the DB room. You got the DB room of Jalen Clay as the A, Mason Chambers as an A, and then what is it?
Rodion
Henrique, the Dutch E import. And just those 3, not even in the homegrowns, is already. We don't know anything about Chambers and Clay because I believe they're new to at least the EFA sphere.
Mm-hmm.
But if they hit, they hit. So the 3 of them would already be great. And then Finn is coming back as a homegrown. Did they have Otto last? No, they just signed Otto, I believe, from Berlin. I could be mistaken. Who did they just sign? But what's your thoughts on their DB room?
I think it's good. When we talked about, shamelessly plug our last episode we did on the 64 bracket of players in Europe. We talked about Henrique at length and talked about how good of a DB he is, how kind of underrated he is in the European space. Preparing for that episode, I went and watched a little bit of his tape, not a ton, just because I had 64 players to get through. But I sat there and watched a little bit, and he's really fucking solid. I think he's going to be the fact that you get him as an E is awesome. I think he's going to be great for just in general holding down that secondary. And you really kind of have to have a good secondary in this iteration of the EFA. With just how much talent is on all 6 of these teams, it's ridiculous. You need to have a solid secondary in order to stop just kind of the level of QB play you're going to see from the other teams in the EFA, and also just the level of just wide receiver threats you got.
Yeah.
There's we're going to get to the wide receivers on all these teams. I think our thoughts on all the wide receiver cores are going to be wow, this is a really good wide receiver core. And so it puts Frankfurt in a really good spot that we look at their DB room and it's again, we don't know much about their 2 American imports, but from kind of rumors we've heard and murmurings, it seems like they're both supposed to be really solid coming into the league. And Henrique's a baller, and Finn had a good year last year, I think they should be able to hold their own in the secondary, which is really, weirdly enough, is probably the most important spot on defense in the European football sphere.
Yeah, because if you can even get an E to not shut down an A, because that's most likely not going to happen, but it could. We've seen games happen. But if you can get Henrique to help basically double team an A with a homegrown and kind of limit the A production,
you can negate the entire impact of a really solid wide receiver that way. it's going to be tough, but if you can do that, I mean, some of the wide receiver talent, like I was saying, that's going to be in this league, if you can just mitigate one of those guys, that's massive. And the thing is a lot of these wide receiver cores go 3-4 deep. So the fact that they have potentially 4 starting DBs that like you're confident in, and obviously they're going to put some of these guys at safety and stuff like that because they're not just going to have 2 of them sit on the bench for most of the game. But the fact that you can have all those guys out on the field at the same time, and you're like, I don't really feel too bad about, having somebody on their wide receiver 4 because we got a pretty good guy that can play a man on them, or we got a guy that's going to be able to, thrive in the zone and play the middle of the field and be able to hold his assignment. And I don't think a lot of the other teams that we look at here today have that benefit. Now, obviously, this could all blow up in our face, and they're going to get gashed for, 700 yards in the air in week 1. We're going to be like, wow, what the hell happened? But I really doubt that's going to happen. So it's definitely a good start. It's an advantage that I don't think many of the other EFA teams have.
No, yeah, I agree. And we'll probably get through this list and kind of double back and say, maybe there is another team. But starting this episode off, yeah, it's they seem very set on the defensive back side of the ball. And even jumping up to linebacker real quick, they brought back Toby Naylor. They have their French import of Luis. These names, I still, even 3 years in, I still suck at names. And then even keeping their homegrown of Sebastian. It's like, it's this we're going to just keep reiterating on this defense. And it's probably going to bounce a lot throughout the whole episode. These defenses and offenses in the EFA are just stacked.
They're so good. I mean, that's kind of the benefit of the ELF dying is because how many teams do we have last year? Do we have 14?
We had 16 last year.
We had 16. Wow, we had 16 teams. So the fact that we're going down to 6, I mean, just a lot of like the good players that were on those bad rosters got to kind of jump ship, and also good players that were on the championship winning team, like Chris Malumba here on the Frankfurt Galaxy, got to jump ship. So you have somebody like Malumba, who we had going far in our bracket, again, to plug that once again, but we had him going, like Elite 8 in our bracket? I mean, Chris Malumba's a dog. So the fact that they get him on the D-line, crazy. I mean, Toby Naylor's a dog too. Yeah,
he won Big Dog of the Week a couple times, or Unsung Hero a couple times.
Mm-hmm. Did we have Toby Naylor on the bracket? That might have been a fucked up. That might have been.
I think you fucked up. You did not add him.
Yeah, it's okay. We almost fucked up and didn't have Sandra, so at least I got one Frankfurt guy in there.
Yeah,
Naylor probably should have made it over somebody.
I'll probably get a DM after this comment, but defensive line, and it's not just Frankfurt. And yes, Malumba's a dog. I think D line is going to be an issue with a lot of teams this year because the O lines are getting better. Wide receiver core is deep, and these quarterbacks, this entire quarterback class can pick a team apart if you give them 2 seconds in a pocket. Like, give them a clean pocket for a little bit and let the man work. So pass rush is going to be huge coming into this. And if you blitz, you need to get home. Like, if you blitz and you don't get home, you're going to be in a world of hurt, at least in my opinion.
No, I think I agree. I think of the 3 phases of the defense that they got, I mean, the defensive line is their weakest for Frankfurt for sure. But that linebacker and defensive back room is just so nice that I think it's not going to be as detrimental as it looks, But Chris Malumba, just by himself, having him there, he can be a game wrecker. And I expect him to be as good as he was last year. I don't see any reason why he would regress. And so what that's going to do is that's going to put pressure on a lot of O-linemen where if any of these other guys can step up, any of the other guys they got on the D-line, they're probably going to have to double Malumba, Like they're probably going to have, teams are probably going to have to put a lot of effort to stopping him from destroying the game. So if you got 2 guys in the O-line, you got a guard and a tackle having to hold this guy through, or you got a center and a guard having to hold him through, that just makes the defense's job easier. And that gives them the option of, we got Malumba going to take up 2 of their spots. It gives us an opportunity to blitz with our defensive backs more, which we have 4 really good defensive backs that we can blitz with, right? Like, it opens up a lot of phases of the game for them. And again, like, I know we're saying like through this, but I mean, we took a look at these rosters a little bit. Like, if I was a defensive coordinator, this is a team I would want to coach for sure.
Oh, 100%.
Right? Like,
and what is it? Anthony Caljean, their DC.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Let's see if he. Hopefully, what kind of defense do you think they're going to run with this current setup?
They'll probably run 3-4, I imagine, because they're probably going to want to go deeper. Mm-hmm. And yeah, like I don't see them running a 4-3.
No, it'd be weird for them to run a 4-3 and leave.
Yeah,
basically no homegrowns in their defensive backfield.
Yep, mm-hmm. I agree.
But yeah, and I mean there are still signings that are going to come out. Like right now, they have 4 announced linebackers. Who knows if they have? There's not going to be any imports. They've used all their import slots, so I don't know if they'll still a Stuttgart homegrown somewhere or something. But
oh, sorry, go for it.
Sure. No, we forgot one of the. We started at the wrong spot. Special teams.
Yeah, the kicker's the dog. Yeah,
automatic from 40 plus, but inside 40 is a little iffy. But still, having a kicker in this league is going to be huge. And at least they got to keep Rimler. That's always good. And their punter. I don't know much about their punter, but
I don't know. I don't know much about any of the punters in the EFA or in Europe, to be honest.
We knew about the Helvetic and the Helvetic punter just because he was on the field all the time.
Yeah, poor guy.
Yeah. But, I mean, and going back to D-line real quick, I just need to give a shout-out to Rimler. But we may be naive. I don't study D-line very much in the European sphere. I'm more of an offensive stat kind of guy. So maybe I'm naive saying that this D-line is going to be their, not demise on defense, but their weak link. But, I mean, I think people would agree with it.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they just have less name power on there, right? Like, a lot of the bigger known names are in their defensive back room and their linebacking room. So again, there might be some guys that we haven't really seen play a ton that will come out of left field that can really ball and make a name for themselves. But you have that risk anywhere on any of these positions,
No, yeah.
But yeah, I like I said, I think if they run a 3-4, they can. Like I said, you have Malumba if the rest of this D-line room doesn't work out for them, and that's just going to make it so nice for them to run as a defense. It's going to give them so much flexibility. They're going to be able to do way more than a lot of these other teams would be able to do.
Because I haven't dug through rosters too deeply. I'm curious how many imports we do have on the D-line. No, I want to keep an eye on that. So we have one right off the bat, obviously, with Malumba. But I'm curious how many other teams went with imports.
Well, I think with a lot of these teams, they had the flexibility to kind of splash imports all over the place because of how many players were available. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And sorry, go ahead.
No. That was my point. It's just like they have more flexibility just to kind of throw imports everywhere. You know what I mean? Like,
and even with we now have 2 leagues. Yes, we'll get into AFLE next week, breaking down everything. But we going back to the 16 teams we had last year. Now, out of those 6 teams, we kept 9 of them. Technically 10 with Berlin. It's so yeah. All these current rosters that have been announced just look good. This would just be. It's just going to be competitive football, and I love it. But moving on to one of your favorite spots, the trenches O-line. What do you think about their initial O-line?
I mean, there's one name you're going to see on that list, and that's all we need to know, right?
All we need to know.
I mean, we had Nielsen going far in the bracket too, just to keep referencing the last video we did.
Yeah, go check out our Instagram.
Yeah, go check out our Instagram. Go watch that video. But to kind of get more of an in-depth on these players, because we probably won't go too far into each of them just because we got 6 teams to go through. But I mean, Nielsen's a dog. I mean, Nielsen's arguably the most talented, offensive lineman in the entire league. So the fact that you got him there, I mean, it's a similar situation for what we have with him, for what we have Malumba on the D-line. It's like you just have name power right there immediately that's going to be a threat and is going to be dangerous and it's going to scare the shit out of teams. And You have a guy where wherever they slot him at, that side of the field, you're not getting through on him. It's going to be a really tough task. And the fact that you have at least one spot of your line that's just like, that's a lock. That's such a massive advantage in football. Like, I don't think people fully understand just how nice it is to sit there and be like, yeah, here's a left tackle. He's one of the best. No one gets through for him. He doesn't allow any sacks. He barely allows pressures. You don't even have to think about that side when you're playing your offense. Like, you don't even have to think about that side of the line. And that creates so much opportunities for your offense to run. It gives you more opportunity to scramble. It gives you more time to stay in the pocket on that side. You just need to position yourself. I mean, think of a team like the Colts, who have been relatively bad until last year, right? But they had Quentin Nelson through all of those years where they were really struggling. And what did they not have to worry about? Quentin Nelson at guard, when he was sitting there, no one was getting through for him. He was just the best guard in the league, and he just held that spot. And it let them run really effective offenses, because even though Jonathan Taylor had a bigger year than he has had in the past, he was still putting up, 1,200 yards plus each of his years that he wasn't injured, because he was able to run behind someone like a Quentin Nelson. They just had that spot open for them. And Nielsen allows you to have a lot of that same flexibility of operating your offense, because you just have such a standout offensive lineman on your line that's just going to be able to ball and be able to give you a lot of that. Now, again, a lot of the rest of this comes to ignorance. I don't know who the fuck these other guys are. I have no clue. I don't know all that is, and that comes to the risk of, if the rest of the line is really bad, it doesn't matter if you have one amazing player. There's still 4 other players on the line, and if you're getting pressured from 4 different directions, doesn't really do a whole lot for you.
I will say 2 of them came from Stuttgart. They re-signed a lot. They lost 2 to the AFLE teams. And then the biggest one is one of their old imports, Keanu Ebanks, is retired now.
Yep.
So that does leave a hole, but still being able to bring Steven Nielsen back and not losing him
is huge.
Is great. And not even wasting, but not having to use import slots on your line because you're in Germany and they just already have.
I know, it's massive. And
that's huge.
Yeah, no, I mean, having German offensive lineman talent is great. I mean, it's one of the big advantages that we actually see with Nordic when we get into there, is the fact that you can just have homegrown Nordic players as your linemen is an advantage. Like, it's very nice to have.
They could have tried. If I had to guess, Nordic went and tried to steal Nielsen, but they didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh God, can you imagine they have him as a homegrown?
Stupid.
Ridiculous.
Maybe next year. But we'll talk about tight end real quick. And the journeyman that just signed this week, Adria Botello Moreno, left Nordic to go to Frankfurt.
Yeah.
What, 5th team in 5th year, or 6th team in 6th year now, or something like that?
Yeah, he's crazy, man. I don't know. He must love traveling.
He doesn't. He plays football that travels around Europe.
But he must love just like renting new apartments. I don't know. Like.
That just honestly, that just sounds horrible. Like, up and moving every 8 months.
Oh yeah, it sounds terrible. What's it called? I've moved a lot in my life. I've moved probably like 10 times more than the average person has in their life. And I don't want to do what Moreno has done in the last 6 years. Like, I haven't even done that. Like,
no, but
that's crazy. But he is very good.
Yeah, bring in Moreno. That is going to be a beautiful safety blanket for European rookie Ethan Garbers, who we'll get to here in a couple minutes. But yeah, Moreno, one of the best tight ends in Europe. Undoubtable. Not undoubtable. What word am I thinking of? I don't know.
Indubitably?
No. That's a good word. But no. Just one of the best tight ends in.
Or undebatable? Are you trying to say undebatable? Undebatably one of the best.
Undebatably, yes.
There you go.
One of the best tight ends. Yes, that word. Best tight ends in Europe. So having him on your team, it's just an extra playmaker on offense that this offensive weaponry doesn't need, but will enjoy.
For sure.
Because now we're going to get into their wide receiver room, where they have how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 currently signed wide receivers. Obviously, they're not all going to play. Some of them are homegrowns that are probably I don't know the ages, but younger, whatever. But bringing back Brevin Easton as their A is huge because he was balling out last year when Jamison Wayne came in.
Yep. And I expect him to do just as well this year.
Yeah. So you keep Brevin Easton in the same offense because they'll probably run a different offense with Garbers. But the big thing, they stole from another German team, Tyler Foster, last year, the rookie of the year. So bringing him with Easton, and then you still have Nico Stroman and Paul Lenhard. That's a solid one.
It's a really solid room. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I mean, once again, we're naive once we get out of the starting lineup of teams is all the other homegrown players. So if you know information on them, please let us know. But any other talk on the wide receiver room besides good?
Not really. I mean, I think it's if you're coming in as a rookie to Europe, I think you could do a whole lot worse than this wide receiver room. We've seen way worse than this. So
yes.
I think this is setting up a QB for success to have those four guys just as your main four options. I don't think it's going to be the best receiver room in Europe. It's going to probably be far from it. But it's a very solid one, and one that if you're an offensive coordinator, you're going to be happy with. You got guys that can go out there and ball, and you got guys you can rely on.
Yeah, and it could be a sleeper wide receiver room, to be honest.
But, I completely agree.
And then bring back running back room. Jared Amel. Amen.
I think it's Amlin, right?
Amlin. I always say that, but then I realized last year that it's ELN and not LEN.
I think it's still Amlin.
Hamlin? I don't know. But still, bringing back Amlin. Good option running back.
Yeah, he's a really solid running back.
Is Crispin Kai still available?
No, Kai signed somewhere.
Did he stay with? Did he go to Berlin? Where did Kai?
Yes, I think he did go to Berlin.
Did he? Well, I thought he did, and then I thought he left.
Let me go look at Berlin's roster real quick. I swear he's on a team. I think he's on an AFLE team. Oh, look. I just checked through all the EFA.
Oh, no, he went to Potsdam.
That's it.
He did leave Berlin when Tyler Foster did, but he signed with Potsdam. Dude, go sign with Frankfurt. You and Jared would be absurd.
I know.
I know we kind of talked about him a little bit last week, but he was on a shitty situation in Hamburg, but he's young. He can develop. Get him behind a decent line and let him run. But another one that Frankfurt could have went after is Owewu, who just signed with Berlin today, which, in my opinion, I don't like that signing. But, well, it's good for the Berlin running back room. I think it's odd for Owewu to go choose that team. But I don't know who else he had signed, any other options he had.
I like Amlin, though. I think Amlin on a better roster, we'll see good things. So,
agreed. And then quarterback room, Ethan Garbers. You've been high on him. You wanted him in Madrid. You had him in Madrid. Now he's in Frankfurt. Yeah,
I think it's a great fit for him. I was very excited to watch Ethan Garbers. I thought he was going to be very good, and I thought he was a guy who could probably stick around in Europe for a while. And it sucks that Madrid's not around because I was hoping the Garbers – because Madrid's we've had a different QB each year. We haven't been able to keep a guy. And I thought Garbers was going to be the guy, being like, okay, he's a little bit younger. He's probably going to be really good. I don't know if he's really looking to go to the UFL. So I was hoping – have him there because I think he can stay around for a while. I think he is going to compete with the top guys. I put him a little bit lower on our QB rankings just because we haven't seen him in Europe. But if we were projecting, really, really projecting, I would put him top 5. I really do think he's going to be very solid in this European space. I mean, he just makes really good throws. You know, he's just a great passer. What's it called? He's obviously not an elite passer because if he was, he'd be in the NFL, even as a backup. But he throws a good ball. He throws it in really tight windows, which is what you love to see. And we just gotta. And I think giving him the receivers he's got here, these guys are a little bit more sure-handed. And if he can make the throws, He's got guys that are going to be able to catch him, and I think that's going to make a big difference. So I like Garbers a lot. I forget who the A wide receiver we signed was in Madrid.
It was Cruikshanks.
Yeah, it was the other Rutgers guy. I was very excited to see the two of them play because I thought they could have had a similar. I don't think they would have been as good as Sinet and Cruikshank, or Sinet and Cruikshank, but I thought they were going to be at least like 75% as good.
Yeah, even then would be phenomenal. But yeah, I don't think we'll ever see a Cruikshank and Sinet season again.
No, we're definitely not.
But no, they would have been good.
Yeah, I'm very high on Garbers though. I'm very excited to see him operate in this offense, and that's why I'm probably higher on Frankfurt than a lot of other people are.
Yeah, I might call an audible and say we might only get through three teams this week. We might just roll into EFA next week as well because 25 minutes in, we're through one team, which is fine by me. I'd rather go more in depth than leave stuff on the table.
For sure. We'll see how we feel after Paris.
Yeah. But Nordic Storm, if you're watching our videos on Spotify, there's a Nordic Storm helmet behind my head. But starting in the DB room again, or we'll go kicker. Alvin Gustafsson. Apparently he can kick field goals. One of the big holes in the Nordic Storm team last year was we had a wide receiver 4 kicking field goals most of the time. Which, hey, props to him for even volunteering for that, or if he kicked field goals before. But Jacob Green, good efforts. You made a handful. That's all we could really ask for. But now we got a guy who can actually kick field goals. Hopefully. But no, I've loved what they've done with the team. They've tried to retain as much as they could, and that's what we heard very on from Michael, is they wanted to bring back a majority of the team that they could. But we just talked about the good DB room.
Yeah, look at fucking Nordic's DB room, man.
Then there's the Nordic Storm DB room.
Yeah.
Wow, just their import class, and then you don't even need to worry about their homegrown class.
I know, dude. Having Maceo Beard, Mitch Fettig, Luke Glenna, like, get out of here, dude.
So yeah, they revamped their A imports, bringing in they kept Luke Glenna. Sorry, I was thinking of Duck and Edwards. They lost Edwards. They did not re-sign Duck, but they brought back Luke Glenna. And then they brought in Mitch Fettig from Stuttgart, who is now coming off of a high of a ring. And then they somehow recruit Maceo Beard back to Europe after his little escapade into the NFL tryouts and UFL team. And then bring back Khalid Adisa. And I don't even know who Jamilson Ferreira is. Ferreira?
To be fair, I don't think you really need to know. I mean, Mitch Fettig, Luke Glenna, and Maceo Beard should be plenty for this defensive back room.
They used 3 E's on their DB room and 2 A's. It's like, how do you that? And then that doesn't even, like, Philip Holm was still pretty good last year, and so was Kenneth Larson. It's like, how are you going to use all these guys? It's like, what kind of offense are you going to run? You're just gonna
you could do something gimmicky, dude. Yeah, where you can run like 5. You can run 5 in the defense or in the secondary. I mean, you can like kind of use them as the linebackers. But even then, like, you look at their linebacker room. Their linebacker room is good too.
The linebacker room, you got Ludwig Myron if he's healthy, and he should be healthy.
You got Hugo Drayden Hall,
and then you got Lucas Mortson and David Tawaki. It's like, there's still really good 3-4-ish linebackers on that team. And so like this is, once again, it's just going to be, this league is going to be brutally good.
No, and I think honestly, a lot of this from Nordic seems like they're just really afraid of their guys getting injured again. So they're like, fuck it, let's just be a super deep roster. Like, and it's smart.
What they did last year. But so we quickly went over DBs and linebacker. Once again, big hole. This is what I was kind of leading to last with Frankfurt. No Max Parkinson.
Yeah.
He went to Japan. They're left with an all homegrown defensive line currently. They still do have 2 E's left to sign. But right now, we just have Mark Rosenquist, Emil Hovde, Benjamin Igbudwi, and then Zetterberg and Raymond. I don't
It's
know.
Rom.
It's like
Ram.
I like Rosenquist, but I'm scared for our pass rush.
Yeah, and this is why I was saying like I was high on the Galaxy defense, because when you look at, and like we were talking about, like we don't know much about the D line. The D line's a lot more built out in Frankfurt than it is in Nordic, and when you have someone like Malumba, that helps a lot. Undoubtedly, the defensive back room for Nordic is ridiculous, and they have really good linebackers. But the thing is if you can't get home in the pass rush, you give one of like these really talented quarterbacks enough time, they're gonna find somebody eventually, or they're gonna be able to get out of the pocket and make something happen. If you're not coming home on the pass rush, like you need to have somebody be able to come home. And honestly, we might just see a lot of DB blitzes from Nordic. I mean, that might be the move. Like,
well, I was thinking of like you could move Drydendahl up to the edge, maybe.
Yeah, you can probably make something like that happen.
I would keep. I don't know much about Myron's play. I know he's quick. I don't know if he's going to come off the edge very often. I think he's better in coverage.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I'm looking at free agents here, and there is one free agent who helped Stuttgart just as much as the other one. Robert Lockman is still a free agent.
Yeah.
And Nordic has 2 E slots left, and Lockman is German. That would be very beneficial if they went out and got Lockman.
No, yeah, it would be.
Because out of the D-line free agents on this list, he seems to be the best available. Everyone else is kind of a little limited. So, I mean, I'd feel a little more comfortable if they went out and got Lockman, or if they went out and found someone that is currently not on this list I'm looking at, which is fine. But, yeah, I think having Frankfurt with Malumba is huge, just to help limit the time.
Did Arthur Kingdom sign with somebody else yet?
Not yet, but he's a linebacker.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you don't need that in Nordic, but I was just curious.
Take it, though. He's young. Mold him into an edge threat. I mean, what isn't TJ Watt still listed as a linebacker or an edge?
Yeah, he definitely is. He's listed as an LB, but
yeah, Arthur Kingdom's a big dude.
Mm-hmm.
Let him come off the edge. He's quick, and he's young, so he still has the agility. But so yeah, the D line work on Nordic.
That's my only concern. Other than that, I mean, their defense is probably about perfect.
And this defense is going to be tough to begin with. And once again, these rosters are not complete, so we'll always keep that in mind. Just like a not complete lineup, their O-line, they currently have Elliot Heimer. Why am I saying these names? You're better.
Heimer. I mean, I'm not with Nordic names. I don't really know them very well. I would assume Hagemir.
Hagemir? I don't know. Well, we need the pronunciation key next to these.
Next one's Larson. I got that.
Yeah, I love Larson is back. Isaac Moore. And Victor Stoffel is coming back home after his stint in Vienna. And I know some other signings in the O-line that we're bringing in. And this O-line, when it's built out, will be terrifying.
Yeah, it should be really good.
They have a lot of collegiate experience on this line, which will be huge for any defense they can go up against, which is good, I guess. I don't know. My brain is kind of fried today.
Yeah, dude. I think you can actually see the bags under my eyes. Yeah, you really can. Wow, that's bad. Yeah, it's been a day. Regardless, I mean, no, I mean, like we talked about it a little bit with the German lines. I mean, I'm gonna be shocked at any point while Nordic's playing if Nordic's gonna have a bad O line, right? Like
Yeah.
they just
He
have
has
so
to
much to
really
work
mess up.
with. Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit.
So.
Shit.
You all right?
So I poured my drink and it started fizzing over the glass.
No shit. Yeah. Regardless, yeah, we'll be good with Nordic's O line. Like they're gonna keep a lot of those pass rushes busy. Give Jadrian a lot of time, which is scary. You don't want to give Jadrian a lot of time.
No, and then we'll get to him in a second as well. But the running back that's coming back, that is officially not announced, but it's basically announced.
Yeah, we know who's coming back. Yeah,
but tight end room, they lost Moreno. He had like 20 touchdowns last year.
So crazy.
But they went out and got Roberto Miranda, who I really like actually as well from Stuttgart. So I think you downgraded in the passing game aspect of the tight end, but I really like Miranda in the blocking game as well as the passing game. But you just get help on the O-line that you already didn't need help.
But dude, it's just such an advantage. Like you have a good O-line and you bring in a really good blocking tight end. I mean, the holes that are going to be available for the running back that we're going to talk about, it's going to.
Yeah, and
we're never going to see the amount of touchdowns again. We might.
And what's even better is Miranda's not even their best blocking tight end because they had a dude who played at Baylor who was a homegrown in Oliver Tripler.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where are these tight ends? Like. And then I don't know much about Jonathan Nielsen, but still, like your third tight end he's probably pretty decent already. It's like, are they gonna like? I don't even know what you do with this offense because you have Miranda, you have Tribler, you have hopping on the wide receivers now, but you're bringing back Bolio, Jacob Green, Simon Fons if he stays healthy is supposed to be. Or no, Simon Fons was healthy last year. Who am I thinking? Theo Landstrom from last year got hurt in training camp and never played, but apparently he's supposed to be somewhat decent. I know Matt is a little hesitant on him, but Fonz, Almeida, Bolio, Green, Miranda, Tribler.
Dude, Bolio was so good last year.
And yeah, Bo, 100 yards a game every single game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what was his stats last year? Let's see if he EFA statistics. Individual player offense from the ELF era. Sweet. I love Oliver from the ELFpedia.
He cooks. He cooks so hard. All right, let's control F this. Let's find Bo.
Well, you can even all his stuff he has set up is beautiful.
Where's Bo? Oh, there he is. Yeah, he had 1,300 yards, 15 touchdowns last year.
Yeah. And 1,300 yards? They had 16 games, so just under, not 16 games. They only had 12 games. So, yeah, over 100 yards a game.
Yeah. No, he was insanely good last year. I mean, if it wasn't for Cruikshank, we would have been talking about him a lot more.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there are a lot of good wide receivers last year. Horn was still up there, Cruikshank, yeah. But Bo was a very sleeper, which was great.
Adrian Mateo Moreno had 16 touchdowns last year. Bo had 15 touchdowns last year.
Yeah.
Stupid. Had 31 touchdowns between two players.
It's ridiculous. And that almost matches the total of the running back that got hurt in the first half of week 1.
Cruikshank had fucking 1,700 yards and 20 touchdowns in 12 games. Are you kidding me? Those are Calvin Johnson numbers, man. Like, that's insane.
I love the shout out, but you just ruined my transition, bro.
I know. I'm sorry. I just was looking at it.
No, that is absurd. But another guy who's absurd. Now I have to do a second transition. Glenn Tunga, who is officially back. Paired with Alexander Kennedy Channing again, who was a great reserve until they brought in the Frenchman, who is not re-signed. But I like Channing. He's a good homegrown. But with Tunga back, this offensive line and this offense is just going to be terrifying.
So Tunga misses a whole year. He didn't play at all last year. Besides like the first game for
And he still had
half,
100 yards, but it's
still had 100 yards. He had 100 yards in the one game he played. Tunga, I'm just looking at all-time rushing stats. Tunga has 61 touchdowns through his ELF career. The next highest is Brzezowski with 35.
and Tunga had 30 in 1 year.
Brzezowski has 14 more games played than Glenn Tunga. What are we doing here, man? Like, it's actual video games numbers. Like, 14 more games, Tunga still has 500 more yards than Brzezowski does.
And technically, 500 yards should only come in 5 games.
Yeah. Yeah, but 14 more games. He's got 500 more yards and like 20-something more touchdowns. 26 more touchdowns. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And I know he had the Achilles tear, which is a tough injury to recover from, especially since we don't have NFL and NBA money going around in these leagues. You know, I know Achilles aren't taken as seriously because we see, you know, Patrick Mahomes is already throwing on his Achilles injury, right? Like we see things like that all the time. Guess what? Glenn Tunga doesn't have the resources that the star quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs has, right? Like, that's not going to be the same thing. So there is always a bigger risk with an Achilles injury. But even if he's a little bit slower, like let's say he's a little bit slower, he's not as explosive, those things, he's still probably the best running back in Europe.
Oh, 100%.
Even with those things, you know?
Yeah.
So
even on one leg.
Yeah. So Tunga being back is ridiculous. I mean, Nordic really would have been a completely different team if he played last year. I mean, we were sitting there before the season started. We were like, how the hell is this brand new roster, like brand new team, coming in with the best quarterback in the league and the best running back in the league, the two best players in European history that we put in our bracket? Like, it's a stupid offense, and it's going to be stupid this year. And you know, we said their wide receiver room's good. We said their tight end room's good. They said have a good O-line. Their running back's going to be amazing, and their quarterback's going to be the best quarterback in football. So, again, you really just got to hope that pass rush can kick in. Because if that pass rush can kick in, it's going to be hard to beat the Nordic Storm.
Yeah. And the D-line currently is their only weak point on this team. Is the only weak line on their team, unless you count special teams. But that's a relevant conversation for right now. But it's like, if I'm Nordic, I'm dropping my last 2 E's on D-line. Like, you don't need it anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could go get an O-line somewhere. Like, was there any good O-lineman even still available? Let's see. There's a lot of German O-line still available from like Stuttgart and stuff, but it's like probably not enough to make a difference with who they're already bringing in. So it's like, just go drop your 2 E's on defense, your D-line, and then this team, it could be their championship to lose as long as they stay healthy. Barring injuries, obviously.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can just go get Lockman. Like,
you
get an E on Lockman, we're good.
Yeah, go get Lockman and then go steal Daniel Lopez from Madrid.
Yeah, I was going to say Lopez was pretty good last year.
Yeah, and it's like, even if Lopez is your all right,
Sasha Back was pretty damn good last year for Stuttgart. You know.
Yeah, it's like,
I mean, the fact that there's so many Stuttgart D linemen still available, it's like, what are we doing? Like, Grube had a great year last year.
Yeah. It's like, I wouldn't be surprised if
why are these guys still free agents? What are these teams doing?
I
guess they don't want to use E's on. But a lot of these are homegrowns for German guys, for German teams.
Yeah, if I'm
Frankfurt,
just go sign them all.
Frankfurt, just go sign these guys. We were just talking about how you only have Malumba. Like, go get Lockman and go get Grube, and then there you go. Now your defense is disgusting.
Yeah. And then we talked about it briefly, but Jadrian Clark changed his number, no longer 18 after rocking that for 5 years. Now he's JC3, rocking the number 3. So, yeah, we're going to see a new version of Jadrian Clark with a new number. We're probably just going to see Jadrian Clark.
Most likely, but
yeah, Nordic Storm. good team. Frankfurt, good team. Nordic, great team.
Mm-hmm.
Then,
I mean, what we all had him at 2, or Jordan had him at 1 because
Vienna.
he hates Vienna probably more than I do. But
I will say probably next week we'll talk about another close 1A team. But Paris could be up in that conversation depending on who they finalize on their roster. But let's hop into Paris real quick.
So, third team we're talking about today, third team that I'm going to say this is a really good defense.
And then Walls will say how good their offense is. You're seeing a trend here with the EFA. They might only have 6 teams, but oof. Alex Malchow, sorry, you're not going to be winning 10 grand off the EFA this year on your point spreads here.
they fucking blacklisted him. He's not allowed to.
Oh yeah,
he can only do $5 bets. Oh man, I don't know if he wants us to say that. We probably it's fine. We'll be fine.
But Paris, special teams went out and signed this kicker from the CFL that is somehow classified as I guess I thought he was listed as a homegrown. ELF has him listed as an E. We'll see what the final rosters say, but he kicked in the CFL for quite a few years. So, once again, kicking game going to be important because you're not going to be wanting to leave 3 points on the table or have to go for it at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, I love the name Dean Faithful. That goes hard. What's it called? That's really all the thoughts I got there. I mean, I can't talk about European kickers. If he played in the CFL, I assume he's pretty solid. It's tough. It still confuses me because a lot of the best kickers in the NFL are ex-soccer players, right? Like the soccer players who didn't pan out. I'm sure there's some chubby soccer players who didn't pan out who are still on some former glory. Just go get those guys to boot some field goals. They can make it happen.
Yeah.
Like you can go find some like 35-year-old like guy who didn't pan out in whatever soccer league he was going for. And that guy's going to go kick you some 50-yarders, Because you don't have to be in shape to be a kicker. You just need a hammer of a leg. It's like having like a slugger in baseball, Like
first baseman.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You'd be fat as shit as a first baseman, You'd be 400 pounds as a first baseman. If you knock that shit out of the park, you're cooking, Like you can do the same thing as a kicker. I mean, who's the kicker on the Rams? Oh, he was kicker. Yeah, dude. What is his name? Is it like
kicker.
Dude, that guy's awesome. That guy was automatic in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That guy's bigger than me. Like, he's out there just kicking shit. Like, you can do I don't know. Go find some, like, chubby British dude who didn't pan out and just go get him to kick field goals for you. So, I don't know. Hopefully Dean Faithful's pretty good, though. It's a hard name, dude. Yeah, especially, dude, if you're a kicker and you're automatic and your last name's Faithful, come on now.
That's free marketing.
That's free marketing, dude. That's so good.
Yeah. But, all right, this is where I think both of us being a little bit naive is going to hurt us because I don't know anything about French players.
I don't know shit about French players either, man. I do know, however, from everyone we've talked to, that this is supposed to be a really nasty defense. They have some really good homegrowns. They got, like, the best homegrown players in France. Like,
apparently they snagged some like Canadian French homegrown players as well, playing ball for a while.
Yeah, like from what we've heard, this is supposed to be a really underrated, really good defense. We're all riding the high on it. We don't know much about them. We haven't been going into it, but we've all been hyped just to see it because of the hype we've been getting from it. So I'm going to be really disappointed if Paris is getting like 35, 40 pieced each week. But I don't think they will. Like from what we've heard, a lot of the guys are supposed to be good. They're import Liggins on the defensive back. I think he's supposed to be a really solid import. What's it called? I think
they still have an A available.
Yeah, they still have an A available. They can put wherever they want on the defense. I'm assuming they'll get another DB. Yeah.
But bringing in Marco Illich with an E is also very solid to help. I feel like having 3 really good DBs is huge. I mean, we saw that with Frankfurt, and then that's not even classifying homegrowns. Like bringing 3 good import DBs seems like the way to go. Except if you're Nordic, just bringing in like 8, I guess, is the way to go. But no, yeah, I mean, and from when we've started covering the ELF or European football, Paris's Achilles heel every single year when they get to the playoffs or whatever is their defense. It's like we saw them go toe to toe with Vienna a couple years ago with their offense. Zach Edwards, Ben Home, back and forth, and the defense just fell apart. But this, I think, has to be one of the best D lines as well because you're bringing in 2 E's, Jack Lowe and Alexi Olavio. I don't know, some Finnish guy. But yeah, they don't have a lot of linebackers signed yet either. So they still have a lot of their defense to fill out, which if it's already a good defense, I'm scared to see who they even bring in.
Well, yeah, they still got like 5 E imports they can throw. They got some A's they can still throw out there.
And there once like we roasted their offensive line week 1 last year, but they developed and gelled really well, really quickly. So they won't even need to burn any imports on their O-line.
And it's cool, man. It's cool that they can just have a fully French O-line and like be competitive. Like that's what I love about some of these teams. Like look how many people are French on this team, man. Like they have so many homegrowns on this roster.
And once again, you have your E's to throw around. Well, you don't even have many E's to throw around anymore, actually. You've used a lot of them. I guess depending on if your kickers.
How many do they get? They get 8? 1, 2, 3,
you get
4.
6.
You get 6.
The 6 in the EFA. You get more in the AFL.
Yeah, you get like 9 in the AFLE or something stupid, right?
But even if your kicker counts as an E, which may or may not hurt them later on, but there's still a lot of good linebackers left at free agent. You got all the Stuttgart linebackers. You got Lucas Cyber, Leno Reinhardt. Then you got the defensive rookie of the year, Arthur Kingdom, still available. I want to know the bidding war behind closed door for Arthur Kingdom right now.
Yeah, I'm curious on that as well. Yeah. Dude, yeah, Bach is still available, man. It's just so funny looking at the free agents. It's just all Stuttgart players. Like
yeah,
still available. And there's just so many good Stuttgart players. Like, God, it was such a good team.
Yeah. I wish. Why? Oh, I keep saying it, but AFLE. Why would you not just fund Stuttgart? You had the fan base. You had.
Dude, they really wanted Florence, where they have no players, when they could have just taken all that money and just said Stuttgart will keep you alive, and you can keep all your guys.
You kept Berlin alive over Stuttgart.
I know. I don't know what the fuck they were smoking. I don't know what they were smoking. I don't know why you would pick Berlin over Stuttgart. Is it because Berlin had the NFL Europe name and logo? Who cares? Was it Cologne an NFL Europe team? You let them die. I mean, I guess they kind of had to because they were directly owned by the ELF, but whatever. Who cares? No one's keeping Cologne alive. But yeah, why would you keep? I don't know who picks. And Stuttgart had a better venue than Berlin. Berlin was playing on a grass pitch. You know, like
and to bring in bleachers for Berlin.
Yeah, like Berlin's stadium sucks. They had no fan present. Again, sorry to all 3 Berlin fans, but you know, like nobody showed up to their games. Nobody wanted to go watch Berlin. They had no presence. They got fucking demolished every week, pretty much. You know, they could beat the shit out of the bad teams, but they couldn't do much else after that. Stuttgart just won the championship, and they had a great fan base, and they were like on the trajectory, like, and they were a great story. They used to suck,
and they were
terrible.
They were going to have to rebuild too, like not fully rebuild, but they're going to have to find a new quarterback. They're going to have to find some new players. It's like, but they had their core there.
They had
their
the core. They could have ran it back,
championship.
Dude. But they chose Berlin. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. But
you're pumping €1.5 million into these teams, and you choose to let Stuttgart die for both leagues. To be honest, like it's not.
Yeah, I don't know why nobody stepped in.
The AFLE is the one pumping money into teams. The EFA, they're not pumping money into teams, as from what we've heard. But still, like, bring them back. Like
People must have hated the Stuttgart owner or something. Like, I don't know.
he must have
Maybe there's ignorance on our part. Maybe there was no way to.
Yeah.
Maybe there's no way to bring Stuttgart back. Maybe it was just doomed. But from an outside perspective looking in, it's crazy we don't have Stuttgart still.
So
regardless, going back to Paris, we can't really comment too much on their defense because it's a lot of homegrown players, a lot of players we haven't really seen play a ton. But from what we've heard, it's supposed to be.
I think they'll struggle week 1, but then they'll kind of
put it together.
Thing. But we talked about
that. Do we know who they're playing week 1?
Look that up. I'll talk about their tight end real quick. Talked about the O-line a little bit. Bring a lot back. They gelled. It worked. Good to have homegrowns. Tight end. Bringing in Marcus Shabrel.
They play Frankfurt week 1.
Frankfurt. Ooh, that should be a good game.
Should be a really good game.
Bringing in Marcus from Tyrol, stealing their tight end. So bringing in an E at tight end, who I like Marcus. He's been good. We haven't really seen him perform just because the Tyrol quarterback carousel kind of thing going on. But he's apparently really good. Been in the Tyrol system for a while. Glad to see him get a shot outside of Austria as an E while we've been covering the league. So I think him and Zach could be a good connection.
Definitely.
But bringing back to the wide receiver room, they've kept their main core. Bringing back Austin Mitchell, who
had a great year last year.
Yeah, but then he can kind of disappear when he needs to, but it's fine. Keeping Hugo Tekadam, Remy Bertellini, and then their wide receiver room is just deep. Seeing who to find as their fourth guy, but you might not need to run fourth guy if you're running Marcus the whole time as well.
For sure.
Running back room, bringing back Kondar and Bofunda. Who was their running back last year that start with an M? I forget, but he is not currently signed to that team. Do you know the Nordic running back Solarot, who signed with Madrid, is now a free agent? If I'm Frankfurt or if I'm Paris, I'm going to pick him up as a homegrown because he was a good running back for Nordic in the playoffs and towards the end of the year.
Was it Jean-Charles McCory?
No.
McCory? No.
It doesn't matter who. It's okay. But yeah, there is a French homegrown running back still available. So that could be a good pickup if he doesn't find a team. And then quarterback of Paris, our boy, coming back after a year break, Zachary Edwards, who I like. Don't get me wrong, I like Jalen Henderson, but I think Zach Edwards is a better fit in Paris.
I agree. I mean, he had a great season the first time he was there. What's it called? I mean, he was amazing in Barcelona. He's kind of the guy in Paris nowadays. I'm glad he's back. And I think he's going to get the most out of Tekadam and Mitchell. Like, I think we're going to see a little bit more development out of those guys. Again, like I said, no offense to Henderson. He's really good as well. But I think you're getting a step up from Edwards. And I don't think Edwards would have signed if he didn't see something in the wide receiver room. You know what I mean? So.
No, yeah. And I think it's the same guys he played with 2 years ago and 3 years ago. Like it's, and then he gets a new tight end weapon. I don't know what tight ends they ran with when he was here last time. I don't remember. I don't feel like looking it up right now. But no, this Paris team, their offense has always been high power, and their defense is the one holding them back. And if rumors are correct, their homegrown group on defense is going to be phenomenal compared to what they have had. So. Like every other team, offense is really good and defense is really good.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to see Paris. Paris is the team. I know we said it even on our episode we were ranking. We could be the most wrong about Paris just because we don't know a lot of what's going on there. But I am very curious to see what continues to happen with them. And yeah, I mean, all three of these teams that we reviewed today, I mean, Frankfurt, Nordic, and Paris, I expect good things from them.
Yeah.
I think I'm still in the boat where I think Frankfurt's probably the worst team, but dude, it's crazy to say that.
Yeah. Out of the 3 teams we reviewed today, it's wild. You could say Paris just because we don't know much about it, but yeah, somehow Frankfurt out of the 3, I think if they were going to have a 3-team league, I think Frankfurt would be third. But all 3 of these teams, the playoffs is theirs to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Like they should be in the playoffs.
Well, because I imagine it's going to be a 4-team playoff, right? That's what they're going to go with. So, I mean, I expect these 3 to be in the playoffs. I expect the playoffs to be Frankfurt, Nordic, Paris, and Munich. Sorry, Tyrol and Prague. Not that Tyrol and Prague don't have a world where they make it, to be honest. I could see either of them getting in as well. But, yeah, I expect all 3 of these teams to make it. I expect Frankfurt to be the worst of those 4 that we shouted out. But I really don't think it's by that much. I think there's a lot of underselling of Frankfurt. I like Frankfurt a lot, and it might bite me in the ass, and Frankfurt might not make the playoffs, but we'll see. I think potentially we have the most room to be wrong about Paris, just because we don't know a lot about their homegrown guys. But I like Paris a lot. I'm excited to watch Paris, and I'm excited to hype them up so we can get some good graces with their players, so we're not pissing them off all the time.
Yeah, and we'll probably break down schedules once full rosters are released, just so we can have a more accurate representation. But right now, I think Paris and Frankfurt split their 2-game series. I think they both go 1-1.
I completely agree. I expect May 15th is the first game between Paris and Frankfurt. I expect Frankfurt to win that one. I expect there to be more cohesion in the first week, just because I think we're going to have to see like the Paris defense kind of gel and get put together. So I expect them to get caught off guard. They're also not going to have tape on Garbers, which might be an advantage to Garbers to kind of really go out there and ball out. So if I had to take a pick between those 2 in week 1, I lean Frankfurt. But if I had to pick a team to be better down the stretch, I would pick Paris.
And what's wild is, we're picking Frankfurt week 1. But just on the other side of the ball, on that sideline is Jack Del Rio. Mm-hmm. So, like, if anyone's going to have a team ready week 1, it's going to be him.
It's going to be him, yeah.
So, we're beating a dead horse now, but EFA is just going to be competitive. And on the flip side, there'll be some competitive games with the AFLE. I'm be curious to see what the other teams if they actually sign players or not.
I mean, I've said it before. I think Vienna is going to be the most broken team we've ever seen in our lives.
That's going to be probably one of the best European football teams of all time.
I think it's going to be the best European football team of all time. I mean, it's ridiculous who they got. But when we get to the AFLE, we'll talk about them, because we'll do the same thing. They technically have 8 teams right now, right?
8, but 6 have mainly signed players.
We have 6 that we can really actually talk about. So next week, we'll be back and we'll talk about Prague, Raiders, and Munich. If there's any big signings for these 3 teams, we'll briefly go over them. At the beginning, we'll see if we have any different thoughts. If Frankfurt, Nordic, or Paris go out there and sign like a Lockman or something, we'll say, okay, does this move them up in the contention rankings, stuff like that. So we'll go over that at the beginning of the next episode if it happens. If not, there's no big signings. We're just going to go straight into Prague, Raiders, and Munich, and I expect us to talk for an hour about it as well.
Probably. Maybe a little longer if Jordan's here.
Yeah. Well, Jordan actually might keep us on pace. So
That's fair.
But like, stop talking about the French homegrowns you know nothing about. I'm like, I'm sorry, I
You just made me like, what the fuck?
the entire episode. All right. Well, thank you everybody for watching. Go check out our YouTube. We just did a episode where we ranked the top 64 players in Europe in our opinion, and mostly Matt Bresington's opinion as well. He was on that episode, so make sure to go check it out. Show him some love. It was a really good one. It was a lot of fun talking about all the guys that played in the sport. And, if it continues to be European football and we don't have these leagues completely devolve, it'll be fun to kind of go in next year and see who we kick out of the bracket and who we add in. So Really good video. You guys should go check it out. Make sure to follow us on all our social media. We're _pod on Twitter/X, and then we are Fourth Down Fiasco on everything else. Leave us 5 stars on Spotify. Leave a comment. Let us know your thoughts on all the stuff, how wrong we are about these 3 rosters. We'd love to hear it. We'd love to debate with everybody. If you see our Instagram comments, we are constantly replying to like pretty much everybody, even when it's clearly rage bait, because we want to at least hear your rage bait. We want to know why you're doing it. But we appreciate you guys all watching, all listening, and we'll see you next week. Hugs and kisses.
Peace.